What's up, nerds? Tony here with you from Them Nerds with a new weekly feature, the Critical Role Recap Show. I love the crap out of Dungeons and Dragons, and especially the YouTube LivePlay D&D show hosted and DM'd by Matthew Mercer, Critical Role. As Mercer says at the top of each show, it features a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons. The cast consists of Travis Willingham, Laura Bailey, Marisha Ray, Ashley Johnson, Sam Riegel, Taliesin Jaffe, and Liam O'Brien. Also joining them this season, at least for now, is Robbie Draymond, who participated in the 8-episode interstitial campaign Exandria Unlimited that aired after the conclusion of Campaign 2. This first episode of the Critical Role Recap Show coincides with the first episode of Campaign 3. I have been waiting for this one, nerds. An amazing new set surrounds our cast as Mercer welcomes viewers to the premiere episode, which was also featured in many movie theaters around the country. It's a lot of time to sit in a theater. As is customary for the show, Sam Riegel kicks things off with an ad for our sponsors. In this case, it is for Hit Point Press, and it is a whole-ass musical. This may be Sam's most over-the-top sponsorship spot yet, and that is saying something. After the ad, Mercer eloquently and brilliantly breaks down the setting for this campaign. We are on the continent of Marquette, 893 years post-Divergence. We are 6 years after the end of Campaign 2. And the opening setting is the city of Drusar, a city spanning 5 massive mountain spires towering above a steamy jungle hundreds of feet below. The city is dotted with cable cars, flying beasts, and other unique transport, and as we will learn in the episode, the very high and very low of Marquesian society. Matt boots everyone from the table except Laura and Marisha. We learn Laura is Imogen Timmelt, a human sorcerer with purple hair and a soft southern accent. Marisha is Laudna, a multi-classed warlock sorcerer who seems to have a very creepy, ghostly, grudge-like vibe and a sick British accent. The two begin the campaign attempting to get into one of 2 conservatories' libraries that are on the spire to do some kind of research. We are not yet made privy to the topic of their inquiry. Now, Sam and Taliesin return to the table. We learn Taliesin is Ashton. He awakes in a hollow spire populated by derelicts, destitute, and ne'er-do-wells. He's an Earth Genasi barbarian with green skin and purple hair. He has a hole in the side of his head stuffed with broken glass. I've had those days. His brain is visible. He wears a jacket that says "Just Don't" on the back and carries a large glass warhammer that says "Fuck off." I'm digging the vibe change in Tal's character here. We meet Sam's character, an automaton cleric on wheels called Fresh Cut Grass. Yes, you heard that correctly. Fresh Cut Grass. He's just super helpful and has kind of a Mr. Rogers voice and vibe. He just wants to help. Ashton and FCG decide Ashton needs some money, so they go out looking for work at the Spire by Fire, a pub and inn nearby. Matt calls to the table Ashley, Liam, and Robbie Draymond. We learn that all 3 are reprising their characters from Exandria Unlimited. Robbie is Dorian Storm, an Air Genasi bard. Ashley is Fern, a fawn druid with a little fire spirit companion called Mister. And Liam is Orim, a halfling fighter. We learn the 3 are traveling by airship paid for by Keyleth, Marisha's character from Campaign 1 and Master Druid, to seek out some sort of connection. The 3 arrive and ride a cable car across the spires, where Fern steals a 2.5-foot-long earring clean off of a Pakidan's ear, and the 3 head off to the Spire by Fire for a night's rest. Just as they are approaching the pub, a massive blue burst of arcane energy strikes a cart, knocking its contents all over the street. Suddenly, a knife, a sword, a rug, and a table all begin to animate. Matt says for the first time this campaign the magic words, "I need you all to roll initiative." As the battle begins, Matt calls Travis to the table. He runs out of the Spire by Fire, describes himself as a very old man with a rapier and a walking stick. He is Sir Bertrand Bell, a human fighter who just so happens to be knocking on 80 years of age. Travis has always wanted to avoid romantic relationships on the show, and being an 80-year-old is a great plan for that. I mean, Maybe. Who knows with these people. After dispatching the enemies, Bertrand introduces himself to the group and tells them he could find them work through Lord Esteros, a wealthy estate holder who lives nearby on the spire. He could provide both coin, which Ashton likes, and clout, which Laudna and Imogen are after for their entrance to the conservatory. They decide to go into the Spire by Fire for a meal and drinks and to discuss business. We learn Fresh-Cut Grass's former adventuring party was murdered, and he was found after some time by Ashton. That's how they came to be acquainted. We also learn Fresh-Cut Grass was named after one of his creator's favorite smells. He had other automaton compatriots with similar nomenclature, including some that are not really appropriate for this show. The party, minus Laudna and Imogen, decide to stay at the Spire by Fire on Bertrand's dime and head over to Lord Esteros' estate in the morning. Laudna and Imogen decide to go back to the apartment that they have been sharing with an elderly patron. As bedtime approaches, Travis shines as Old Man Bertrand. His interaction with Orym upstairs was gold. Fern and Dorian go downstairs, where Fresh-Cut Grass is watching Ashton play cards. Poorly. Dorian unsuccessfully tries to earn some tips doing bardish things, with some very unfortunate rolls, and they all eventually decide to give up their pursuits and hit the hay. Laudna and Imogen, back at that apartment they've been sharing with their elderly patron, get some interesting information about Lord Esteros. Apparently, he seemingly came upon the estate at the expense of the former owner, who just sort of disappeared. That bit of info will likely color the two magic wielders' interactions with the Lord as they become acquainted. One also wonders if they will share that information with their newfound compatriots. In the morning, the party heads off to Lord Esteros' estate. Dark and mysterious, the estate seems to have just one older servant attending to things at the moment. She leads the party into Lord Esteros' study. He is a fairly elderly, full-blooded orc. He seems unimpressed by Sir Bertrand's return, and Bertrand tells Esteros the group is there to prove themselves to him in exchange for coin and reputation. He responds by saying, "Show me," and rushes toward the party aggressively, and that, unfortunately, is the end of the episode. This was a great kickoff to Campaign 3. Matt Mercer continues to stand out as an amazing storyteller and dungeon master, and the voice cast has really settled into some cool characters this go-around. I already care about them after one episode. On the next episode, we will see the battle between our party and Lord Esteros, whatever that may entail, and probably some further interaction with him. Work, one would assume? I'm hoping we also get some details on Lord Esteros and Sir Bertrand's relationship and background, because it did not appear to be as positive as Sir Bertrand had led us to believe. We heard a bit about Fresh-Cut Grass on this show, and we know about the Exandria Unlimited 3, so hopefully further information about Ashton, Laudna, and Imogen is on deck in the next episode. I am so glad Critical Role has returned, and I hope you will return next week for Them Nerds recap of Campaign 3, Episode 2 of Critical Role. Be good to each other. Later, nerds.